Unique New York. Unique New York. Hi, how's it going? Today I thought it would be a nice idea to just sit down and have a little chat. So I've got myself a cup of tea and a Christmas tea infuser because all of my other tea infusers are dirty and I'm too lazy to clean them, so I'm just pretending that it's still Christmas. And let's sit down and just have a little chillaxing session. It's gonna be delightful. I feel like by now you've probably realized that I hold my mugs really weirdly when I'm drinking from them. I don't actually hold them like this. I'm like wrapping myself all around it like it's some kind of soup mug or like a lifeline. So most of this stuff is stuff that you've probably heard before, whether it's in previous vlogs or like Twitter or Instagram, because I haven't really kept it hidden and I haven't really kept quiet about it, but I just kind of felt like it might be a nice idea to share all of it in one place at once, just so you can see a bit of an overview of what's happening in my life at the moment, what's been going on, and it's my channel, so maybe you should know a little bit about the me behind the channel. So most of you already know by now that I have been struggling with unemployment since the start of the year. I had a job for 5 years and then my contract didn't get renewed at the end of last year, so I've been unemployed since New Year's Eve basically. So I'd been applying for jobs for all of January and February and then finally got a job at the end of February and had that job for about a month, and at the end of that month I had less money than I did when I started working at this job. They'd never told me what my wages were when I started there. They were just kind of like, give us your bank details and, you know, we'll sort it out. But when I finally actually brought myself to sit down and calculate my pay wage, I realized that they were paying me well under the minimum wage. So the minimum wage for someone working at my age in Australia is $23.50 an hour, and even that's not a particularly great wage, like that is minimum wage, and they were paying me $17.50 an hour. The upshot of that is that I had been working for a month and was actually in no better a position than if I'd just basically been living off my savings. Like, I was struggling to keep my head above the water. So I left that job and had another job lined up at the time for me to go into at another cafe. In fact, if you've watched the writing sprints on Ben Sanders's channel where I was sitting in a cafe, that was the cafe that I had a trial shift set up at to do some waitressing work. And then the trial shift fell through and I got a message on the day of the trial shift basically telling me that the woman who actually owns the cafe didn't want me to work there because I had been a customer there, and if I worked there I'd stop spending money there, and she'd rather that I just keep spending money there. They actually needed new workers and were hiring new workers at the time, and like in the weeks that followed, 2 or 3 other people started working there that had never worked there before, but I wasn't allowed to purely because of the fact that I have been a customer there. And the worst part of that is that I'd been a customer there for 5 years. It's actually a cafe that I started going to with my kind of ex-boyfriend. That was the cafe that we went to for breakfast after our very first date, and we've been going there for breakfast every weekend since then, which was nearly 5 years ago. Having a cafe that I'd been so loyal to and have given so much money to over the last 5 years, then turn around and say we don't want to, even though I would have been a very good worker for them, purely based on the fact that they want me to keep spending money there even though I couldn't afford to spend money there, was really, really upsetting. And I've actually stopped going to that cafe now because of that, which is actually really, really sad for me. I miss it. Like, I miss going there and talking to all the people that work there that I was quite good friends with. So since then I've been applying for jobs to the best of my ability, but then, you know, the thing that gets added on top of that is that with every month that goes by, I struggle a little bit more and more with lack of motivation and with just anxiety and depression. There's rarely been a day in the last month where I haven't ended up not just crying, but like curled up in a ball under the weight of just extreme helplessness level crying, because I just don't know what to do to keep my head above the water right now. Like, I just feel like I am drowning in the day-to-day struggles that come from having not enough money. And I've said this before to a couple of friends of mine, And I can't think of a better way to explain it, but there is nothing that is more disheartening than realizing that you can't afford to be alive because you don't have the money to eat or to pay rent for a roof over your head. And the only way that I've managed to pay for any of that or to find the money for any of that is to just rack up ridiculous amounts of bills on my credit card, hoping that somehow this bad luck will break and I will have a job and I'll be able to pay myself back in the future, but it's just not happening. Anyway, I don't really know why I wanted to make this video. I just wanted to catch you guys up on the fact that life behind the scenes isn't that great for me. And like I said, I haven't really hidden this. Like, I've done vlogs and I've done tweets and I've posted on Instagram talking about the fact that things are difficult, but I just wanted to kind of share the whole story of what exactly has been happening in the last few months in one video. Anyway, let's talk about some other things that are going on in my life. So I've still been trying to apply for jobs. Like I said, I have deferred my uni course until next year because I was at risk of failing it, just simply because of the amount of time that I was spending stressing about money and trying to work at this first cafe that was paying me such dismal wages. I've gone on hiatus from the novelty book club, the book subscription thing that a friend of mine and I have been running here in Australia. I am also going to be moving out of this house here that I've only just moved into because I don't have the money to pay rent for next month, and I don't know if I'm going to have the money to pay rent for next month. Kind of the only thing that's keeping me happy at the moment is making videos and talking to you guys. I honestly think that there wouldn't be much that is positive in my life right now if it wasn't for you guys and for being able to talk to you guys about everything and anything. Sometimes it's the only reason that I can think of for even getting out of bed in the day is just to make another video to share with you guys. Sometimes it's the only reason why I even bother brushing my hair or putting makeup on is so that I can make a video to share with you guys. So thank you, BookTube, for being such an amazing positive force in my life, and I don't know what I would be doing this year if I hadn't decided to make a BookTube channel last year. So now that I've made a complete mess of my makeup by crying while talking about all of this stuff because I can't help myself. This is not a positive chat. I might have to put a disclaimer at the start of this video that this isn't actually quite the cozy chat video that I'd hoped for. But thank you so much for watching and for caring and for being a part of such a wonderful and positive community for me to be a part of. I will see you in some other video very shortly, I'm sure. And until then, as always, stay classic.
Sit there and count your little fingers. Unhappy little girl blue.